Kanpur. Today we will have a sort of inspirational lecture, uh, primarily by Nagesh, who is a old friend for a long time. He will tell us the whole story of his engagement with the village over the past 2-3 decades. How he how he came back with a romantic idea from USA, how he discovered this village, Venkatrampuram and E. Palagottapalli. And through him, we got involved in a few activities. So we'll have the entire story of what continues to inspire and what is still an illusion of engaging with villages. So without much, Nagesh is a PhD. He's a BTech from IIT Madras. Then he went abroad to do a master's. Came back after getting involved with villages. Did a PhD here. Now he's been on and off engaging with various organizations. Right now he's with Sweta University, I think, Savita University, and also an independent consultant. So without much ado, I request Nagesh to come and share his experience. Come, Nagesh.
Hello, Abhijit, Vijay, and other friends. Can you hear me, Abhijit? Should do. Yeah. Okay. So I have shared the link to this PDF in the chat window also. Yeah. And I'll just quickly go through. I have lots of slides, put a lot of pictures. So I'll quickly go through so that we can discuss more if there are questions. So one is Romance and Reality of Engagement with Villages is the title Professor Lakshman suggested. So it doesn't mean it's no longer romantic or anything like that, just to get. So my village this is near Tirupati in Andhra. And this PDF link I shared chat window, so you can from that get that my wife writes well. So her point of view, you can look at this post. There's also a video of my village somebody had made. So those links also you can look at later. Yeah. So location, it is about 200 kilometers between from Chennai as well as from Bangalore. 45 kilometers from Tirupati, southernmost district in Andhra, borders both Karnataka as well as Tamil Nadu. And these are the questions Lakshman suggested, and they look reasonable, so I stuck to them. So why did I come back from US? Why did I choose this village? I dabbled in this DST, DOLR kind of projects, PhDs, etc. How did I manage to sync these two? What are the constraints I faced? How do I keep going? It's so many years since I've started there. I'll quickly try to address these points. So what attracted you to return from USA? So mainly, I don't see it as attraction. I went with the thing of earning money and coming back to villages. So I'll just explain where it started for me. And that's relevant for the group here also, because we're also trying to create interest in students about villages. So my interest in villages started after I came to IIT Madras. I don't remember during my +2 days, etc. I was interested in corruption-free society this, but I don't remember having anything about villages. So only after coming here, through my interaction with faculty, I developed an interest in villages. So I like open spaces now and all that. This is something much later, 2007 or 8. Just for photographic sake, I put this. Now here, who was the first person who got us interested is Dr. T. Karunakaran, who is no more. We used to lovingly call him TK. And at that time, there was a Center for Rural Development. Professor Indiration has started for somebody. And 84, I entered IIT. So that time we were, my classmate Shambhu's brother was Professor Lakshman. That's how we came to know Lakshman through him, Dr. Karunakaran, and his idea of TechNet. One thing that is relevant, maybe what TK used to say, more important than solving problems, it is important to get the attention of scientists to our problems more than finding solutions. The solutions will follow as long, when the scientists give attention. So with that, he started TechNet. That's how we first met. Then we started going to the village. He was involved in village visits. There we learned a lot within quotes, developed a lot of interest. Bainaganpatti village in Dharmapuri district, where his brother was working. So what was the thing that I vaguely remember is unemployment. work seems to be in villages very limited to a few days after the rain. Rain comes, first one day you can't do it, is too much of water. Then 2-3 days correct water, and then there's no water, moisture. So the working window in the farms is too low. So unemployment was the main problem from what I remember those days and what I know now. And there were no industries in the villages, unlike in the past. So village industries seems what non-agri industries is what not non-agri. Other than agriculture, how to create industries. So they started in this village chappal making. Production is easiest. My wife tries to make cloth bags now. Hari made chappals those days. Marketing is the biggest problem. And the one solution what TK used to call is rural growth networks, where people buy from each other. But that is more a dream, no? I mean, when I went 95 to this village, weavers had already gone. Nobody was buying from them. Potters were still around, but within 5 years, they folded up also. Just a matter of time before we all start buying urban and then Chinese and then next what, we don't know. So urban is where we need to market because that's where money is. And that is a very, very difficult thing. I mean, 90%, 10% production, 90% marketing. Then the other, so through TK, we learned a lot about villages, etc. If we could spread some of that to our students, our people, that would be great. Second thing is then Professor Ambirajan and Professor Rajgopalan, through courses. Why I mentioned their names, they were less active in the villages. They were not active from what I knew. No, they were very open, gave us a lot of support and things like that. They had a course, technology and development. You know, it was each student would read a book. My friend Kannan read Hind Swaraj. So all this motivated us substantially, something we could try doing, each of us, wherever we are. So when I joined IIIT Sri City briefly, for about 3.5 years, I was there as faculty member. So about 80 kilometers from Chennai, north of Chennai. So NSS, I started blood donation camps, etc. Getting people to think beyond their own immediate self. Itself is something substantial these days. And then taking them to villages. I started as part of some project, IIIT project. I was working with school children and taking them to villages, not just for excursion and ecotourism, but more for them to understand the problems. More immersive would be, is what I feel is important. So here I'm discussing this too. So we used to have 5-day workshops for this through IIT, GIS training, local school children. So that is the kind of involvement that is required, not just, you know, one-day kind of trips is what I feel. Next is courses. So when they go also, it is not just excursion or looking at, but a comprehensive trying to understand the problems, participatory assessment, etc. So for example, go around mapping the village resources, make maps. This is all nice and we will all produce. More important is when you try to present those papers to people and how they take it. See, it is not enough you make the product, you have to sell it. It is in this interaction that the student or the will learn the handicaps of what he has done. This is where the learning is. It's not always that we are teaching. We are only teaching 10-20%. We are learning 80% from the locals. And finally help them, co-model the situation. We are not the drivers, they should be the drivers. All these standard words. Help them, plan for their own world is how one possibility. Currently, I am at recently joined a local university close to my daughter's Ayurveda college. So what are the things something we can do is I've given up on adults. I'm more focused on school children. If we can make it fun, game-wise, anything, that might be a better way to educate the next generation about the environmental disaster that we are going through, agri-water, the food security issues. I'll elaborate later a little bit. And then, of course, even, how to use high-tech. Drones are everywhere. In 5 years, instead of hiring auto, we might be hiring drones. So, how drones can be used in the villages, how remote sensing, do they have a place? It at least will get the students interested. It might be just too high-tech, just like AML and all that, but something to dabble in, so that you can bring them to the table for discussion, is what we can try. So this is a game, something I started with Professor Junjunwala in the research part. This is a board game. We are also trying to make into mobile. This is what I'm trying to do. Then this is about satellite image. For example, what is the use of drones? So crores are being dumped by the government into raising plantations. So if we can know which plantations, how they are faring, or in an objective manner, not a human driven, For example, which trees are dead, you can see from the satellite imagery, which are stunted, which are doing well. And if I correlate this information with land ownership patterns, socioeconomic, maybe, the poor person is not able to water the plants he is able to. Does he need supplementary watering budget? Things like that is one use case my friend, long-term friend from an NGO pointed out in Hyderabad, and we are trying that. The other thing could be, crop insurance, for example. Crop insurance in India is not taking off because all the wrong people get insurance money. The one who has actually sown won't get, because there's no record. Record is whatever the Karnam, the Patwari writes. So objectively, can we give this simplified remote sensing? My interest is in simplifying GIS, remote sensing, etc., and taking it to people. Can we put the high-powered Google Earth engine satellite imagery processing onto a mobile phone? The mobile phone is just a input-output interface. He goes there, he trains his farms, he looks there, he sees what farms are growing what. If the actual work will be done on the server by the Google Earth engine, etc., it sends the results back. He can verify claims very easily. If it says, the satellite says, I really know this guy is doing paddy, no problem. I really know this fellow's claim is wrong. He is not doing anything, he is just claiming. Whereas this is yellow, means I can go to the field. So that kind of something, these are not hard fast. These are more, should be seen as decision support, not enforcement. Our technology tends to enforce it. It should not. Should be more, you should leave it for the locals. If they want to cheat themselves, nothing we can do. Just we should only be recommending, because by forcing, we'll be doing a lot more damage, is my personal feeling. Anyway, something we're trying to do, this is on the web as well as available on the mobile. Taking high power AML, this is ML driven, all that blah, blah, blah. The training should be done by the local guy. It should simplify. What is AML? It is just a bunch of training data, and it gives output. Is what we are trying. These are the two things I'm up to now: games and remote sensing drones. How to take it to field officers, ML-based remote sensing for use by field officers, improving access to credit and insurances using ML-based law. Anyway, so this is what we are trying. Now, why did I return? So, like I said, my interest began in villages. And after BTech, I wanted to settle in a village. So one route I chose was, the main thing in villages, there's no expense, but there's no income. In 96, 98, 1,000 rupees per month, I could live like a king in a village. Whereas income is, 1,000 per acre, and 2,000 I could get. And post 2001, income is negative. So that's the problem. So what path did I choose? I thought, not 90 to 92, sorry, 88 to 90. 2 years, somebody says, somebody, the one who doesn't know how to live becomes a teacher, is what they used to say in the village in the olden days. Now it was the opposite, with 6-pay commission and all that. But anyway, I said, okay, I'll do a PhD at IIM Calcutta. I went there, regional development, sociology. Then, the arrogance of BTech IIT, I thought I could do well, but I realized text and I don't get along well. The sociologist, Professor Kamini Adhikari, used to tell me, you can't be writing telegram. Text has to flow. Nothing used to flow from me. After passing Compre, I thought better late than never. I discontinued, but it was nice. I learned economics. So my professor was Satyesh Chakraborty, PhD from London School of Economics, geographer and all that. Origin of cities, Lewis Mumford, theory of surplus accumulation. It was a great learning from me. But reading is one thing, writing is another, you all know. So I used to started doing district-wise urbanization maps. Somewhere it has stuck. Maybe my GIS today is something to do with that. I don't know. Interest in GIS. So I started then, after first year summer, I went around India with Shambhu, Lakshman's brother. Then I realized I'm no good at qualitative. After 1 year, I knew, no, I'm not going to make a living here, So I came back and started moving toward econometrics in IIM Calcutta. Then I said, if I'm doing econometrics, I went there with the idea of village industries. I wanted to study village industries, how to revive, etc., etc. I realized, I won't be able to do a good PhD in that, given my skill set. Econometrics, I can do well, crunch numbers, produce maps and all that. So I started, but then I thought, why this? If it's crunching numbers, I might as well go crunch engineering numbers and make money. So I exited, I started applying. That's where faculty comes in. I came back to IIT Madras just for help, and everybody was very helpful. I said, I will join MS and then go for PhD. They said, no, we'll give you recommendation, go. Now from Professor Ramurthy in my BTech guide, applied mechanics, to Ramohan Rao sir, everybody, people I knew, didn't know, but everybody was very helpful. And I, managed to get a scholarship and go US. So why I'm saying is money. That's what I wanted. I knew villages, there's no money. I will earn money and come back. I had a target. Go 2-year MS, 2-year job, 10 lakhs I earn, I come back rich man. 10 lakhs, I was rich, in my opinion at that time. So anyway, so the question is not exactly, I went with the idea of earning money. I even tried going to Gulf, except I couldn't get. Gulf requires experience. Anyway, 90 to 95, USA, MS 2 years, job 3 years. I was supposed to be 2 years, so it became 3 years. So instead of 10 lakhs, I got 12 lakhs. But I am a very safe player, green card, PhD, Texas A&M, all that I managed. But my heart was not in all those. So basically, I came back. For example, even now, since 2013, I have come to IIT for PhD, Triple IT, CCT, all this. But I am a prisoner in the city, the way I see. Because of family circumstances, I am here. But this is not the space I want to be. So US was not the space I wanted to be, not Chennai. Villages are a great place. If you ever get a chance to go back to your ancestors' villages, it's a great thing. Like Keralites used to do. Post-retirement, you should go to village and live is what I feel. But anyway, so I returned to India 95, settled down in a village. So I invested my money in a small flat, rent that supported me. I bought a small plot in city and a farm in village. As you can see, the farm went up by 5 times inflation, whereas the plot has gone up 25 times. So urban city village difference is substantial. So
tell us how you discovered this village.
So that is the next question. What attracted you to? Okay, this is my still we are in first question. So anyway, this is our house in the village. We stayed 95 to 2009, 14 years. One we had done. So I like this. So to me, it is as comfortable as a hut, except as long as there are no scorpions and all that. So I love this reasonable comfort, but my comfort levels are reasonably low. So my wife Aparna, she did her BE from ISC around same time. Lakshman's sister's classmate she was. Then this is my daughter here who is doing her Ayurveda now. These are all her friends of all varying sizes and ages. I returned to India with, how did you choose Ipalagottapalli? That's a question, right? So I returned to India with following interests. First, somewhere I had 3 interests when I came in mind. One is organic farming. How did I? And Ayurveda. These were my top 2 interests. So how?
Ipalagottapalli was not your ancestral village.
Right. Okay. To advance, it will come. Why Ipalagottapalli? So basically, I had interest in organic farming and Ayurveda. So when I returned in summer, what happened was 90 I landed. 6 months later, I started having joint pains. I was junk food was my favorite. French fries, cheese. Somewhere later, and for 4 years, I roamed around Stanford Hospital everywhere. Everybody will give me paracetamol equivalent, painkiller. Whereas 94, 1 year before I came, I randomly walked into a Nature Cure hospital, and I bought some pamphlets in Telugu, small booklet. They said your digestion is the key. Then I realized I have a severe constipation. I switched to high fiber diet. So nobody talks about diet. Nobody talks about, all the doctors, genuine doctors, talk about paracetamol and something else, autoimmune disorder, but nobody is telling you simple things. That Ayurvedic book told me, that Nature Cure book told me. I was quite impressed. So I said, okay, organic farming Ayurveda, this is what I should go back to. So 91 year later, when I came back, these were the 2 I was looking for. And then somewhere, I used to go to UCSD library. I am not a text reader, but 2 years I was so fish out of water there. Though I used to love software, I used to go to UCSD library. Weekends, what do you do? So then I don't know how the books are being changed by the government, but the books are definitely wrong because they didn't teach me one thing. British came to India not to sell their goods. Their fellows didn't. They came to buy industrial goods from us. No, we were the exporters. They were the importers. They wanted to bypass the Arabs. All this story nobody told me. So I was reading those, and then once their mills came, they wanted to reverse and dump their exports on us. No, British came to import from India. We were 1/3 world GDP was in our country at that time. Nobody told us all these things. So anyway, as part of that reading, I went through something, Bhakti movement, etc., 12th century, and I realized, material, spiritualistic, whatever, and we need to think of that. So that is another thing I was interested in, Bhakti movement, but then very conveniently I decided to defer it to next life. Because Shambhu tells me the other day, no, don't defer it, do it now, kind of thing. And he has run to Vipassana from today, 10 days. Anyway, I don't know, I find it too abstract. But I know the solution is this, towards the end, That's very okay. How did I choose this village? So as I was realized, I have to be in an AP village. That's where my comfort level is somewhere. So I went around in AP, United AP plus Telangana. So the 3 zones, there were the 3-4 villages I ran around. And basically, one of the thing was I was interested in individuals who have gone back to their villages and settled, and who have, who are from the son of the soil, who relate to those people who are looking, and not a funded agency somewhere. I have nothing against funded agencies. It's just that money distorts everything. Once you start bringing money, the locals will do it differently. Is my, and I am strongly, we can discuss that. External funding, I was against. This particular village out of the 4 didn't have. Second thing was, the one person had already gone back. Narendranath, who is no more, we lost him to cancer. His wife Uma Shankari is a Tamilian. Both of them studied in Delhi, came back. This is his ancestral village. Her father was a great writer, Janaki Raman, Tija. Anyway, they were doing organic farming, so it was easy for us to join. They had the whole ecosystem ready, and they were all, own farm, own survival, all that. So 95 to 2001, a golden period in the agriculture. Green Revolution, 80s, 90s. 90s was a great time. Basically, we were selling our future and sucking away water. So golden period, millets, we cultivated groundnut, mango, rice, jaggery. We were all doing well. This is the height of the boy, this is the height of sugar cane. But only thing is, if you can see, it is all thriving here in the valley. The hill is shaven. It's a matter of time before that degradation, what you have done to the hill, it will do it to you very quickly. And that's what happened by 2001. So 2001 to 2007, drought. So we switched immediately to catchment, reforesting those hills, water harvesting, plantations, blah, blah, blah. How much time have I taken? Oh, okay. Anyway, then I'll quickly rush through. So we organized these meetings, this Uma speaking in the forest, all those shaved hills we tried. Water harvesting, don't spend too much money. Small ones, most of these are done with IITM project. Then 2007, watershed development using GIS through DOLR projects through IIT Madras. We have got 2 projects. And, this is here, Lakshman is here. This is my guide, Dr. Padaniyappan Ramu. This is Professor Sudhir. This is Professor Sudhir's student Vamsi, now in IIT Warangal. I don't know if you remember this photo. So this is a 5 lakhs for a tank that never overflowed. And to overflow, that's what government does. It puts a NGO from Hyderabad, all the tanks will have, whether they need or not. This is 5 lakhs at that time. This is 5,000 rupees, what we did through our projects. And this one immediately got filled with sand in just 1 rain. So all these things are known, and we tried promoting map making. Then go beyond just, everybody talks about building structures, improving money. But can you fill a pot with a hole? Unless you control discharge, regulate this won't work. So this is Alexi Vaina, my friend from Europe. This is Balaji Narasimhan from IIT Madras. And I think Professor Koshi is also somewhere in this. He is there. Yes, he is there. He is filming, I think. Anyway, and my Vasan NGO friends and Rajin NG friends. Anyway, so the water table kept going down from this many wells. We explored this many. What else is going to happen? So however much recharge you do, unless you control this, and that's where Bhakti movement comes. And so it is not just awareness anymore. Somewhere people have to decide to live with what they have got. Otherwise, leave the city. Like Kerala, leave the city, go to Gulf and earn money. You can't keep sitting and cutting the branch you are sitting on. Anyway, all these technologies we tried. We took them to Siddhi, Sai Baba Place, Yavara Bazaar, etc. So, for example, this is Yavara. This is a model. This is where Bhakti movement comes. This is Yavara Bazaar video you should watch and just take a screenshot. They have said they banned borewells, but 20 years they immigrated to Mumbai. 28 farmers also immigrated, but they have come back because their village was famous for liquor brewing only near Pune somewhere. Yavara Bazaar. Abhijit must be knowing. So now what they are doing is, look, we will see how much water we have. That much water only we will use. They will real. So obviously all of us do it family, right? We match our expense with income. If we keep borrowing on credit card and living like an American, where will you go? They will go where they go. Anyway, this is one thing. Next is Ayurveda. So Naren and Uma were very key. They were not as much into Ayurveda as Aparna and I are now. So I started reading Charaka Samhita, Sutra Sana, Chikistana. Then I realized I'm only theory guy. I should never go to practical. Now I was telling Lakshman. Anyway, telemedicine, Dr. Girija, and now Lakshman is doing. So nutrition is another very important aspect. Most of these people are severely anemic. So this is some milk plus ashwagandha churnam. So based on people's donation, because it costs a lot of money, not a drop of milk that produces, this village produces a lot of milk, not a drop stays, but everything goes up because money is what they want. Anyway, so how to get that back? Okay. Third, how did you visualize and succeed in getting projects and PhDs? I have got my PhD from my village, and two more. Vaidya has got one more also. Anyway, one more that Lakshman doesn't know. Sorry, just 1 second. My daughter is not well. Can I mute myself? Sorry, yes, some personal emergency. So I'll just finish this. So basically, where am I? Sorry, I'll rush through. There's where is that? Yeah. So now, then drought started 2001. My income dipped negative, I told you, and then Professor Padma Vasudevan helped us greatly. IT Delhi. She introduced us to DST scientists, and we were still young at that time, young scientists. Then they were okay. DST was okay with NGO, so we went through Vasan and we did the small project, and then we went to DOLR again through her. And they were very keen, and they wanted through university. Then we came to IIT. So Lakshman, I came to Lakshman Koshi, Professor Koshi Varghese. So the first project, it received very good. The secretary herself said, submit a second project. In minutes she gave. It took off well. Except even after a secretary minutes, it takes 2 years for the proposal to get sanctioned. So after, why I am saying is, after 1 year, I waited for 1 year, March 2011, March date. Then I realized, no hope. Let me join PhD, and I joined PhD at IITM on the same topic. 1 year later, that money came. Anyway, so now what is once you say academic research, you have to have the rigor of a data-driven approach, etc. So it involved this took 2011 to 13. 11 I joined. 2 years I dodged my guide, some more past concrete. Then 13 I took to him what I thought was a paper. Then he said it's not even a report. 1 year it was with him. Then 1 more year with editors. So 2 years it took first paper. Then after that I got used to the game. So this is a second paper in 6 months, and then 1-2 more papers. So these are my I managed. But basically what I'm trying to get at is, I remember seeing one IIT Delhi applied mechanics professor who was working in computer design of textile in Guwahati and things like that. So he was also saying something very similar. Okay, you want to do textile weaver, better weaver, then you put in CAD, auto, finite element, etc. I mean, you can use modern tools, still address problem. Somewhat where you might help, somewhat might not help also. Finally, the goal is to train the student also, apart from solving the problem in the tool. Something like is how I heard him, something similar. Anyway, then I joined IIIT, managed something similar with made networks, collaborate or perish. So you can see the author list is very long. Somebody said, publish or perish is a old thing now. It's collaborate or perish or something. Anyway, so then I wanted to look at the discharge regulation, system dynamics side. And so my student now, who is about to graduate, Lakshman knows him well, 16 to 23, is here in the team. So he has got 2 decent papers in that line, and he's about to graduate with data on the same village, but same technique. So this kind of paper drawings won't do. You have to have some equations, some data, some graphs, but it's a part of training. And basically it helps people visualize and analyze, but the solutions that come out of it, one should not, for example, if you go to this paper, it's full of graphs. it is just for discussion. One should not go too much into those graphs, as that's where that soft approach is important. And there's one more at my Orissa University friends who is doing on the same. He has got his first paper out now. So, and once Spark team also visited Oregon State and IIT Bhubaneswar. I think there's somebody from IIT Bhubaneswar. This maybe I don't know. So
they are supposed to be there. I don't know whether they're going.
So Dr. Meenu Ramdas from IIT Bhubaneswar and Oregon State people, we are working with them in the same village. They were here just before COVID and Feb 2020, but after that, because of COVID, we couldn't interact much. But we have one tour. Anyway, so what constraints you faced? This is a big point, and I've already exhausted my 30 minutes, but I'll quickly list. Labor is the main problem that Ravi knows well also. So basically, we are not blaming labor. From labor point of view, inflation, no hunger, but severe malnutrition in the villages. So there's no way you can. But at the same time, farming has stopped. Men migrate, women stay back. Why has farming stopped? Labor rates have increased 14 times in 14 years. From rupees 50 in 2007, for the same amount of work in 2021, I have to pay 14 times, which is just, I'm the best farmer in the village because I have lifted fallow. Others are still struggling. Solution is massive mechanization. Is it a solution? I don't know. But otherwise, there has to be something. Labor is a big issue that I faced. When I went 95, labor was still there. It's only 20 rupees. Still, in those that rainy day window, how do I get labor? Everybody is competing for that limited supply of labor. It's a big problem. Anyway, you need per acre, per operation, 15 people. How will I get 15 people? There are at least 200, 500 acres of 200 acres cultivation. That many people are not there. Simple thumb rule will tell you. So it becomes a very tight water issues. Water was is always, and that's basically in South India, upland India, only 10% of area can be irrigated. Remaining 90% has to be irrigated because the waterfall, that is how it must. But otherwise, you keep digging deeper. So falling water table, 50 to 600 feet, electricity issues, and climate change. In 90s, 92, 96, 98, every 3 years it got full. Whereas in 2005, 2015, Chennai went under flood. So 10-year water is accumulated and hitting the climate extremities. So either flood or drought. Now, how do we face that? Because we as citizens can, crop cannot. So it's a big problem. I don't know how we are going to cope. So that market, mango alternate years, whether you produce 2 tons per acre or 5 tons per acre, it keeps oscillating. The price is reverse. I make the same money. So it's a market manipulated issue. Land, if you want to go settle, nobody. Past. I couldn't buy for 3 years. I couldn't get land. I kept hunting because there are too many issues: access, clear documents, neighbors. Price, so much is there, and then land is everything in the village. Border disputes. So I've seen survey, fight, mediation, police, court, everything I've gone through. Anyway, you wanted to know what constraints? There are all the constraints. Then man-animal conflicts. Sitting in an armchair like right now I'm sitting, I can talk about animal rights. But when wild boar attacks my groundnut, I have to electrocute it and eat it out. He ate my groundnut, right? But you see, include it in your endangered list. And the forest fellow is after me. I don't know. I have to stay up. You've stolen my sleep. You steal my groundnut. So all these are tricky issues. Anyways, is what I'm doing. Forest protection. So we went to. So forest is any social resource, individual gain versus collective gain, short term versus long term. That is where that Bhakti movement kind of thing comes. Unless our rural and urban societies think in those terms, or even the world, I don't know where we are going to go. We are gobbling up too much of resources. Then inter-village land makes a water, blah, blah, blah. Ethics, what I've seen is 95 to 2007. I somehow see 2007 as a watermark year. Somewhere something to do with mobile technology and transport. The drought has pushed people to the cities. Just around that time, mobiles also came in. Together, the ethics have totally changed around that time. Before that, elders, a word I give you, add a value. No, not legally, but at least other people will tell you, you told him yourself. At least there is a half prayer. Whereas right now, nothing matters. Elder doesn't matter, word doesn't matter. More money alone matters. I go loot an ATM and go as long as I share money reasonably well, everybody is happy. So that's how vote, everything, you know. Then I somewhere blame it on these. Water issues, of course. So Hiware Bazaar kind of solution is a real solution, where people restrain their things and plan come together without, you know. So my friend Naren used to say, it's our failure, we are not able to impress. I don't really know. Maybe it is true. Somewhere that Bhakti movement that I refer to is like some back. What constraints? Okay, DST projects. These projects, I'm sure you all know. The main problem is the committee guys have little clue to what's going on in the field. You might have experience in your own scientific research also, but they have all the power because I also sit on a committee. If I say in the 10 minutes, I'm evaluating what all you did or your research assistant did over 1 year, and it's a little. Basically, what I found is 10%, 10 times inflation. What you and I have an idea we can do with this much resource in this much time. When you go through a government project, it takes 10 times. It's okay, but that is what can something be done. Papers. So recently, that my NGO friend at Orissa University, we started during COVID time with a great idea, Excel sheet, something. By the time it has come out, 8 revisions over 2 years. That guy can't write for nuts. I am a bad guy. We are tired, you know. But anyway, what can be done? Water harvesting, environmental degradation, so much has taken place. Now the money government spends 5,000 crores in 2010 looks big, but there's nothing big to what we have done over 50 to 100 years. You know, since the British left before and all that technology, you know, there's not a the forest where, you know, full of trees, now there's not a blade of grass. So anyway, all that has ended up in the tanks. Now they keep digging the desilting, but we have not yet reached the bottom. We're still sand weak. How do you keep the original flame still alive? These are the two issues. Like I said, I'm interested in food security. That's something I am very much interested in. This is the last slide. Sorry. And I've taken 40 minutes. Bengal famine. Do you know, one third population died? Right? That's a lot. Bengal was a, and how? Because the British wanted them to grow something else. Exactly, I don't know. Doesn't matter. Okay. Now, when I went in '95 to this village, and I'm talking about '95, not about the 1940s. The landlord will have 3 rooms, granaries. The landless farmer with one small hut, landless laborer, will have 3 big vats, 6 foot tall vats. Your house is more to store your food grain, rather, because food grain is what will keep you seeing the next year, because the year might fail anytime. You know? So, whereas by 2000, all of them have disappeared. So imagine every house in the village, in the country was storing, and instead you shifted the responsibility to Food Corporation of India. Now, luckily, there is some talk about taking it back to in between to the Primary Agriculture Cooperative Society, something the government has mooted. Basically, we need to think about food security and water security. It boils down to food security, because one famine, the other day, we were exporting wheat, and suddenly we stopped it because somebody said heat wave, wheat is going to go down, wheat production. So all these heat wave, we know last 1 month how much we are suffering. What it means for the crop, so we don't know. Anyway, so all this, how to take simulation tool, what if scenario analysis. Then somebody said, if you go, I said, officials, politicians, leaders. So one IAS officer told me, and also professors in Himala, they're useless. Don't go to them. My commissioner said, go to block level leaders, sub-punches. Okay, they are very keen. So then on school children, these are the segment we want. That's what I want to look at. Next is plantation monitoring, like I said, you know, crop type verification for better insurance, crop yield forecasting, etc. For all the forecasting tools, the wheat is stopped at the port. I say, you know, somebody should be asking ISRO guys, why couldn't you predict? Maybe ISRO guys are doing a great job. I don't want to, you know, how is it that we are not able to estimate correctly? Anyway, so 2019 or so, one additional chief secretary who took over as agriculture post-retirement. All these people talk only post-retirement. He said when he went to join at PMO from Chhattisgarh, Kerala, PMO told him in the office, don't rely on those figures. Go to the market, find out how much crop is being grown. Those figures are not for you to make your plans on. Now you can Google and find out all this. Anyway, so this is what I'm interested in at the village level. Yeah. 40 minutes.
Okay, thank you. When originally we had, how much time you have? You have to
30 minutes, I took 40 minutes. I have time. No, no.
You can stay back now. Okay, see, we had two more parts to this presentation. So that means we will take a little more time than 1 hour that we planned. Are people okay? We will quickly go through how, now we have heard how Nagesh was inspired by people. We will see how Nagesh inspired a few small activities. So basically, there used to be a school project which was managed by a group at IIT Madras, and Sudhamsu, now at Jamshedpur, was part of that small project. So he'll share briefly what we did in his village, in Nagesh village, and then very brief introduction of the health project that Nagesh wrote and we finally implemented. That will be by Vijayabhaskar. So maybe we can have some discussions after that. Well, let us quickly go through these two presentations also. We will stop sharing. No?
No, no, it is. Oh, yeah, yeah. Anyway, they can overrule us. I thought I stopped sharing. Yeah.
Okay. Sudhamsu, please go ahead.
Am I audible, sir? Hello?
Yes, you are audible. Har Har Mahadev.
Har Har Mahadev, sir. Good evening, everyone.
You have to start talking.
Yes. We also had opportunity when I was when I was a research scholar in Department of Applied Mechanics, IIT Madras. Professor Lakshman Rao was my supervisor, and there we had an opportunity to collaborate with Nagesh sir and go to Elankivari. I was just a small part of this entire group. In fact, most of the other students and research scholars were more involved in this. Probably I am more involved with ISAM. That's why Lakshman Rao sir was just asking me to talk about this. So our interest was basically to connect to the schools in rural areas, and then see if we can somehow add supplement and complement to whatever they are already learning in their science, in their regular science curriculum. So the fundamental idea was from Professor Piyush Ghosh of Applied Mechanics Department, IIT Madras. He was doing this CSR project where the project name was One Lab, One School, where each lab was connected to a government school around IIT. And we were also one of those labs who were connected to one school. So we were going to this government boys high school at Poneri. And the objective was to supplement whatever was being taught to the students, basically for 8th and 9th class students. We wanted to supplement it with additional tools for learning, especially experimental tools. So what we did was we used to go there for 5 or 6 times a year, and we used to cover one chapter in every visit. And we used to cover each chapter of their science curriculum only using experiments. So mainly using experiments. So that was experiments and demonstrations and some animations as well. So that was that was something that we did in 2018-19 for around 1 year. And in 2019-20, we also separately went to the Jilla Parishad High School at Elankivari, the village that Nagesh sir was talking about. So the method we adopted was basically only based on device. So we were only using experiments to teach each of the concepts in a particular chapter. So suppose if we are talking about optics, we will talk about the diffraction or the light travels in straight paths, and then we'll talk about reflection and then refraction. For each of these concepts, we have separate experiments, and then we talk about lenses. So we take several different kinds of lenses. Then we talk about cameras. So we talk about how camera works, and we demonstrate it to them. So this is the way we used to divide every chapter, and we used to have at least 7 or 8 experiments for each chapter. So this was what we were trying to do. And the method, the other things involved here was we were having multiple teachers in a single classroom. By teachers, I mean the research scholars. So if there are around 40 students and we have to make them do experiments, then we need at least one teacher for 7 or 8 students. So even if one person is briefly giving some instructions, the other people will be helping the students around. So generally what happens is when only one teacher teaches and all others listen, someone has some doubt and they keep discussing among them. So that was not happening here, because even if that was happening, there were other research scholars who were helping them out and who were helping them to follow the class. So okay, other things we also had, like they were initially shy, so we had to, some icebreakers were required. Some scholars were very good in entertaining students, talking with students, etc. So all those really helped. And more than all of this, we had support of Dr. Nagesh, who helped us to go there and arranged the visit and arranged the logistics for us over there. But these all also came with some costs, and Professor Lakshman Rao had some project from which we were able to manage the costs over there. And what we see is generally, if we look at our curriculum, it is mainly mathematics based. So we learn a theorem, we write some equations, and then somewhere later on we talk about an experiment. But mathematics is too abstract. And it is only for some particular kind of people who love to talk about abstract things. But the interest for things that we can see, the interest for what happens if I do this, what happens if I do that, etc., irrespective of mathematics, that is there with almost everyone. So this, what we felt is that when we came up with these experiments, students were even more excited, and more number of students were interested in science than what they were before. And that was, especially in Puneri, we had a very long-term engagement. In Elankivaripalli, due to COVID, we couldn't continue it later on. So we had, we went through metrics as well as we got some results upon how students were performing before and after our classes. And what we think is these kind of separate parallel kind of teaching is also required. Experimental tools are also very much useful and required for this. So these are some photos. As you can see, this is Ashish, who was explaining students. So these are all different groups. You can see that different groups of students were sitting at different places. And this is a student, by the way, who is explaining. I think here he's talking about how force acts on a current carrying conductor placed in a magnetic field. So in fact, they had a very good infrastructure as well nowadays. Schools, when we went there, we thought they may not be having, but no, they really have very good infrastructure. Except for students have to still sit down. That's another thing. But otherwise, the teaching aids were very well established. So that's all with me. Thank you.
Thank you, Sudhamsu. I think Nagesh has to go on some emergency. So let us have a short break. We'll have question answer with Nagesh. Then we'll continue with Vijayabhaskar presentation after question answer with Nagesh. Nagesh, please come.
Sorry, Vijayabhaskar. Just give a few minutes. And then we can.
Yes. Ramakrishna also joined. Please welcome Ramakrishna.
Ramakrishna, welcome. Yes.
There is Ramakrishna.
Is there?
Yeah. With Narsimha Avtara.
లేట్ అయింది నాకు
రామకృష్ణ బాగున్నావా
అనుకోకుండా లేట్ అయింది బాగా.
Any questions for Nagesh about the nice stories that he has told us about?
Sir, if he stays for
Sir,
5 minutes, I will finish.
Sir, I have a question, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, you told you were initially interested even while you were doing BTech in working with a village. How did you get that interest?
So basically, this slide I am showing here now, right? So I got to know about villages' interest, everything during BTech days only. So we were fortunate to meet Dr. Karunakaran, T. Karunakaran, who was mentor for Professor Lakshman Rao also. So through Lakshman, we met him during our first year days. So with him, we used to go to his village where he was working in Dharmapuri, and unemployment issues. They were making chappals. My friend Kanan was trying to sell them in the hostel. So, and then there is a course, technology development. We used to interact with Professor Ambirajan and Radhagopal. So basically through faculty interactions, we have developed some idea of the village problems, and we got interested, several of us. And I tried doing that also subsequently. So anyway.
So I think you're really emphasizing that there is a role for a ongoing course at a BTech level, which can play the role of inspiring people. I mean, the inspiration may come even after 10 years, but definitely the technology and development at that time played a very important role. And I've been always talking to Abhijit that we should also restart similar courses in IIT.
And it should be immersive, not just surface level.
That's right.
Somewhere it will sink in the brain and it will come up.
So that's what we plan to do when we have a workshop on teaching these courses. So I hope it will happen very soon.
Yeah, I would like to be part of that effort. I strongly feel. Yeah. And all of us should together design across India.
Yes, exactly.
One common course, each of us. This is all internet times, right? We can teach from anywhere. Go on, please.
Any other questions?
Sir, I'm sorry for asking a second question. Actually, it's a follow-up to the first question. So once you are interested, there are two parts of problems that anyone normal person will face, I think. One is you are a technology student. So one question is, I did BTech. Why would I want to go into another field? The second thing is, you have your family and they may agree or may not agree to what your career choice and all. So how did you really manage that?
So, no, there is money in talking about poverty. Rural development is so, I mean, you can work out things and, So, I mean, you can bridge the gap. It depends upon your spouse, and you have to find middle ground. And, for example, there is money to make, you can do both, serving society as well as making a living as part of that. And urban, rural, there is suburban space in between. All those you can figure out. Yeah, for example, your Jamshedpur, where you're quite rural, I'm sure. Things like that. Yeah. So basically, it's important, and I think each of us have to strike our balance. In my particular case, my wife is also equally or much more interested in villages, and I went to US for 5 years for making money. So you have to find the middle ground. No? There's no. Yeah.
And I think there is some role that we in technical institutions, with a few of us who are here as faculty in technical institutions, can play a role, because our salary is assured from the government. Even if we do a bad job, we'll get our salaries. So with that assurance, we should do something useful. There's what one professor from IAC used to tell us. So now you became a professor, at least do something useful at this stage. So many times we do chase things just to get our promotions. And at some point, I think there is something that will also let us also do something useful. That luxury, many people who are in academics, in technical institutions do have. And we should try to utilize that to the extent that possible.
Only thing is,
there are a few people here from.
Yes, that's why last time. Only thing is one caution. The hammer nail. I have a hammer, whatever nail. That we should always watch out for. Others shouldn't have to tell. If others tell, we will take it negatively. Each of us, to our best ability, always make sure what we are proposing is relevant. That is a self-check we have to do.
That is why we are proposing an interface with an active NGO in whatever we are doing in this FITIRI initiative. So let us hope something will gel up in this way.
So in my own drone case, I'm interested in drones, but I don't want to. So I go to Vasan and say, what is the use case you can put it to? So he came up and said, this content, something you give me, then I know which families to target. So it's always better to go on.
Any other questions for Nagesh?
I will ask Nagesh to stay back for 5 minutes. Bas.
Okay, all right. Then we'll
Yeah.
finish with
Within
go
5
ahead.
minutes, Nagesh. Nagesh, I will finish in 5 minutes.
Okay, now
It
we'll
is
go
your
ahead.
brainchild. It is your brainchild. That's why.
Vijayabhaskar will tell briefly about the project that we are involved in, which actually was written by Nagesh, and we are implementing it.
Yeah.
Okay, Vijayabhaskar, please go ahead.
I will finish fast. Okay, are you able to hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Screen.
Yeah, are you able to see? Are you
Not
able to
yet.
see the screen?
Not
Yeah.
yet.
Yeah, this is basically rural
Not yet.
health
We can't
monitoring
see.
system.
We
Yeah.
cannot see.
Oh, just
We
a minute.
cannot-
Just a minute. I know. Why you? I'm very much. I know. Just a minute. I have to share the entire screen and share. Yeah. Now you can see now. Yeah. Are you able to see the screen
Not yet.
now?
No.
Are you able to? Yeah, it is good. Are you able to see the screen?
No.
No.
Yes, now.
It has come.
Yeah. It is slow. Net is slow. That's why, yeah. So it is basically. Yeah.
Unknown.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
It is basically. Yeah. I will go fast. Yeah. It is basically development implementation of Ayurvedic rural health monitoring system, and it has been long written by Nagesh for tide oils. It has come under through CSR scheme. We started 3 years back, 2.5 years back. Okay, and Professor Lakshman Rao and Nagesh also thought to introduce Gramin Ayurveda in rural areas. In that context, this project has come. So we choose. This is the main thing. Monitoring and improving health and rural SC communities, where Nagesh and Aparna stays in the Tipalagotipal Arijanvada. He just, after his practical problems, he has seen malnutrition, other things. From his brain, the actual thing has come. So it has come to a very practical project, actually. So we are also following the same rules of this project, what has been written. So this is the already Nagesh said the distances from the Venkatrampuram. Why you choose Ayurveda? Because Ayurveda is the alternative medicine, and in future also people started using it. And because of the British and Macaulay education, we are not able to know what is our key strength and all. Now, definitely in near future, definitely we will do. And at the same time, daughter of Aparna and Nagesh also is studying Ayurvedic doctor course. Definitely she will adapt and she will be a successful doctor also. That's why in advance we choose Ayurveda here. So now we started doing this medical camps. We choose as Ayurvedic medical doctors also. And definitely IIT Madras, and the main key force behind mentoring and monitoring and guiding and is the Professor C. Lakshman Rao and his team, Yogesh, and the basic person from that village, son of the soil, Mr. Ravi, who is also participating in this, and he is also very much right hand to our Nagesh in that village. From his childhood, he used to inspire and following Nagesh. That's what. And this has the wide coverage has to come for this project because of this Lakshmanji's hard work and periodical monitoring and follow up and what is happening, and every week we used to have meetings, and all these efforts has come in this paper, and it is actually real work. And importance of health caring in rural areas, definitely everybody is talking about healthcare in rural areas, 108, 104 and everything. So we also started importance of indigenous health systems and Grahavaijam in local area. What ashwagandha, milk and all they are giving now, we want to prepare 18 varieties similar in that village, that we want to name that kit name. Now I am naming that granny kit, where in Telugu we will say popul pette. Similar to every kitchen should have this kit of Ayurveda. Earlier our forefathers and every woman, Indian woman, used to know the Vaidhyam. Same thing we want to revive. At the same time, we want to establish herbal gardens in that area. So about this technology part, we used operating system Linux and Apache Web Server and MySQL. So Drupal framework, it has been designed. A small software to gather the data and all. Doctor used to use that software, and it should be very much easy to handle and all. I am not good at software, but one of the person whom I know in Chennai, he just came forward and did this software with very much hard work of 8 months. Whatever is happening in the village, we used to tell him, and he prepared similar way the software. Now it is ready to use for doctor in his clinic, at the same time in the field level also for camps and all. This is this is the software model. That's why. And doctor can see the patient's details, patient management, and this is the camp management also here. So you can get the patient ID also by entering the mobile number, so that you will easily get the patient ID. Easy to handle and data is easily accessible, and chronic diseases are identified. Definitely what Nagesh said, it is a malnutrition area. We have to improve the nutrition and diet. Then only if you give any medicine that works for them. Definitely near future, we have to have a nice, natural fruit gardens in that area. That's why. And these are some photographs of Nagesh village. And there is a person, he is the main source, son of the soil. He is Mr. Ravi Kumar. So he is the one of the key pillars to make this project successful. And he is getting his PhD also from IIT Sri City also. He is I am setting the right hand to Nagesh. He is Mr. Ravi Kumar. So the man behind this project is Dr. Professor Sri Lakshman Rao, and he is Mr. Ramakrishna. He knows when Nagesh landed up in the Venkatrampuram, Ipalagottukundu village. He is just 1 year senior to Nagesh in IIT Chennai. These two are IIT professors, Professor Jnana Purshunamba and Arnadachari. They got inspired by Professor Sri Lakshman Rao and Ramakrishna, and they are definitely delivering a very good service. And they are coming voluntarily also to adopt this village in near future also. This is what community observation and all. Due to lack of lot of time, I'm just going fast. If anybody wants this presentation, yeah. This is final goal of this project. Small Ayush center and local herbal garden. We already started about doing this thing. And importance of Grahavaijam and home remedies. Definitely with the help of Nagesh and Aparna, this Grahavaijam we want to implement there. And Aparna is very much interested in implementing Grahavaijam. We also want to do now. So definitely in near future, we want to make some more models like this. Thank you. Arahar Mahadev.
Thank you, Vijayabhaskar.
Yeah, sorry.
Nagesh had to leave because his daughter was not well and he has to take care of that. But we can have any discussion on what has gone on so far.
Thank you, everyone. Yeah.
Any questions?
Sir, Dr. Nagesh is not here, but
Yeah.
Like, is it possible that from his experience he can come up with some sort of a course?
No, we'll involve him in this workshop. He's very much interested. We will get his inputs. I hope that course will take place very soon. IIT Dhanbad is, I have to remind them 2-3 times, I think. If they can't do it, then we'll do it somewhere else. So we'll have that workshop. I think it's even more important that we do that workshop physically, not online, so that we have more discussions.
Yes, sir. And other things are that out of some of the successes,
Yes,
Dr. Nagesh might have also had some failures.
I know.
Which maybe he could have discussed, but he has left. So maybe next time we'll discuss. I'll ask him that.
Yes, yes.
Like oil engine has come and the engine oil has gone.
No, there's always, I think this was pointed out during the CIPRA thing. The average age of your villages is going up. That means most people, for whatever reason, are leaving villages and so on, and that needs to be addressed. So even if you take Nagesh's example, they started with the right inspiration, but as their daughter started growing old, growing up, at least for other constraints, they had to move to Chennai and stay in Chennai. So at least temporarily he is there. So those are the constraints. So still the center of activity for any emergency continues to be cities. So that is definitely something that needs to be done and looked at in a long run.
Okay, sir. Yes.
See, ideally with all the internet connectivity, etc., there's nothing that prevents a software engineer from sitting in a village and enjoying the soft breeze and writing whatever programs he needs to do. But that is not happening. People still flock in cities to write even their software programs. So this is something that we have to address. There are other needs which need to be addressed, other lifestyles that need to be addressed. So a lot of discussions need to take place on these issues.
Yes, sir.
Sir, Rashula, sir.
Yes, sir, please.
Sir, this whatever we are doing now, like this Google Meet, is it a program introduced by Applied Mechanics Society of India? Or
ISAM is doing it as part of FITI-RI. We thought there were a lot of people interested from Bhubaneswar. I don't know whether any of them is there today. So it is for anybody who is interested. Not necessarily.
Okay.
We thought
So,
it is meant to.
I mean, yes, sir. This virtual meeting is basically to introduce technology towards a village area, technology transfer towards village.
Oh, right. See, we had a document. I discussed it in one of the general body meeting. If frugal initiatives for technical institutions in rural areas. That was a paper on which we started. We tried to implement a few activities there. As a part of that, there was a suggestion that we should meet regularly. And that's when we met last month. And as a follow-up of that, I was trying to see if we can continue to have these meetings, maybe once a month, maybe at least once in 2 months, where nice, interesting stories like this can be shared. That's a very important thing. I think the story that Nagesh shared is quite an inspiring story, from which quite a few of us can learn out a lot.
Yes, sir. Yes. Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yes. Okay. If there are no further questions, I think we'll end the meeting today. We may not have anything next month because we are having an ISAM workshop in Varanasi. Maybe after that in August sometime, I am chasing another person called Vaibhav Kale, who had a nice story of bamboo. When his father, Vinu Kale, inspired me to do work on bamboo when I just joined as an assistant professor here long ago. So I'm sure, and Vaibhav is continuing what was started by his father. So I sent him a message. I still have to connect with him. Hopefully, we'll connect with him and get him to share some of his stories sometime soon. So we'll do that sometime in August. Meanwhile, we'll keep chasing this workshop on teaching of these courses, social entrepreneurship or such courses, how to teach and so on. So that was originally supposed to be done in Arunachal Pradesh. Now they are showing some difficulty because they didn't form a team. And when I visited along with Sudhamsu, Dhanbad, they already are going something. Then the director said, why don't we do it here? So that happened only the beginning, end of last month. So we are hoping that they will take it up and organize this workshop. So we'll keep you posted. We'll keep chasing them. Hopefully it will happen very soon.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Har Har Mahadev.
Thank you very much, everybody, for
Jai
joining.
Jagannath. Jai Jagannath.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Because of Jai Jagannath, the Orissa people not joined, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Today is a big festival for them now.
Yeah, that's possible. Yes.
Yes. Jai Jagannath.
Yes.